Ladies and gentlemen, we've invited first class, now we're inviting executive platinum, emerald, sapphire, and ruby if those words are written.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome back the ever-patient Lee Harris. How are you?
I'm very good, but in all honesty, I think you were the ever-patient one just now. I was very, very slow on the uptake. So thank you for being patient.
Oh, well, it's nothing new. Lee.
It's a weekly occurrence.
I have to mention that Crew Travel is brought to you weekly by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Harris was born back in the late 1900s. And of course, their people move people. So Lee, what's going on in the world of travel this week? Let's head on over to Air Portugal.
Yeah, TAP Air Portugal, the flag carrier airline of Portugal, has revealed it will be cancelling more than 400 flights between November and December of this year. Now, according to the Union of Civil Aviation Pilots, the airline is trying to blame the cancellations on the high number of crew who are looking to take parental leave during November and December, thus meaning a shortage of crew to operate flights safely, meaning 400 flights are set to be axed from the schedules. Now, as of this time of the interview, which flights will be axed have yet to be announced by the airline. Obviously, we will keep you up to date on the show once these have been finalised. Now, for any crew obviously travelling with Air Portugal over the next 2 months, please keep in regular contact with the airline or your travel provider to make sure your flight has not been adversely affected by the cancellations.
Moving on to baggage trackers. Now, that has been coming up with a few different airlines over the past 6 months. What's news there?
Yeah, so following Lufthansa, the baggage tracker drama with them trying to ban the use of Apple AirTags, fellow Star Alliance member Air New Zealand is almost following suit. On its website, the flag carrier categorised baggage trackers under lithium battery-operated devices and has advised passengers against using them. Now, given these baggage trackers' usefulness, passengers are always a fan, obviously. However, such as Air New Zealand, they are mainly not. It is worth noting that most portable electronic trackers are powered by coin cell batteries, basically batteries made from lithium. This already raises a red flag regarding safety and security for the airline. Now, according to the airline, since the baggage trackers must remain turned on and constantly send Bluetooth signals, such devices are still considered a safety hazard. Air New Zealand said, as products such as the AirTag and Tile are portable electronic devices that cannot be turned off, dangerous goods regulations currently prohibit them from being carried in checked-in luggage. Now, however, Air New Zealand might have learned a lesson from Lufthansa, and that is not to jump to conclusions so quickly with an immediate ban. Instead, the advisory from Air New Zealand states that although passengers are not entirely prohibited from using tracking devices, trackers with an automated on-off feature cannot be used in flight. It is allowed, though, if passengers have a tracker that can be manually switched off.
Yeah, lithium is really hitting the headlines lately, not only with starting massive fires on yachts, etc., but as well, there seems to be a bit of a lithium shortage going on right now. So that's going to be an interesting topic to sort of follow with, the amount of yachts switching over, the amount of cars switching over, the fact that we have this insatiable desire for a brand new phone every single year. It's going to be interesting to see the future.
It is. It certainly is. Like you say, it seems everything is switching to lithium batteries, isn't it? So, yeah, we shall see how it pans out, I guess.
Yeah. And then moving on to Belgium.
Yeah, trade unions in Belgium have called for another day of national strikes on Wednesday, the 9th of November. As a result, public transport across the country, as well as flight schedules from Brussels Airport, will be disrupted. Now, Brussels Airport Zaventem has announced it will already cancelled or rescheduled 40% of the flights scheduled on Wednesday, but more could be affected because of the strike. Passengers will be contacted by their airlines, but those who can still make it are asked to only bring hand luggage, as baggage handlers are also expected to take part in the strike. The airport does not advise getting to the airport sooner than usual, so please don't turn up 3 or 4 hours beforehand. On the other hand, Brussels South Charleroi Airport, on the other hand, has not estimated the impact of the strike yet and have not announced any cancellations. Access to the airport may be more difficult due to possible actions around it. It is also possible that various services at the airport will run at a slower pace, a statement reads. The airport, however, have advised passengers to arrive at the airport at least 3 hours before the gate closes.
Wouldn't be a weekly travel session without a little bit of strike action.
Indeed. I thought people might miss it if we didn't mention it.
Hey, I know. Hey, your people. And moving on to Munich Airport.
Yeah, Munich Airport has started testing a new passenger service which will offer faster access to security and passport control. Now, according to a press release that has been issued by Munich Airport, with the help of the new so-called express queue reservation system, passenger flows before security checks in Terminal 1 will be better controlled, and consequently, the waiting times will get reduced. Now, the airport explains that passengers departing to countries that are not part of the Schengen area will now have the opportunity to secure a 30-minute time slot to access security as well as passport control points free of charge. In line with the newly made changes to passenger service, air travellers will now be able to reserve a seat for the express queue online. This service will be offered daily from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the security checkpoints in departures concourses B and C of Terminal 1. The Munich Airport pointed out that the last possible time slot is no later than 90 minutes before departure time and explained that all passengers who wish to use express queue must present themselves at the entrance of the express queue before the security within their allocated time slot.
Schipol has some news.
They do. We talked about this actually a few months ago on the show previously. Schipol is extending the compensation scheme for travellers who in recent months arrived at the airport on time but missed their flight as a result of unprecedented waiting times at security. The compensation scheme now applies to the period from the 12th of August this year to the 31st of October. Schipol is doing this because queues were still very long on some days during that period due to a shortage of security staff. Travellers who incurred costs in this period because of missing their flight due to long queues at the security check can submit a compensation claim to the airport until the 30th of November. Now, the original compensation scheme did only run until the 11th of August. Now, costs covered by the compensation scheme include those incurred due to rebooking a flight or rearranging a replacement flight, alternative transportation, or additional travel expenses for getting to Schipol again or to another airport. Now, travellers wishing to submit a compensation request can go to the Schipol website at schipol.nl/compensation. From there, you can send a form. Now, Schipol will assess the requests based on the conditions that have been set, and travellers who have already submitted a request to Schipol don't need to send another one.
Great. And of course, those links will be on Blue Marine Travel's website.
They will do indeed, yes.
And heading lastly over to Virgin Australia.
Yeah, so this is quite, well, I mean, it could be good fun for people who take part. Australian travellers who pick, or shall we say, get stuck with the middle seat on Virgin Australia flights will have the chance to win prizes each week until April the 23rd, 2023. That's according to the airline. The prizes, which total more than 146,000 Australian dollars in value, include free cruises on Virgin Voyages, a helicopter pub crawl, wherever that is, a Cairns adventure pack complete with bungee jumping and giant swing, and automatic loyalty status with the airline and 1 million points. Now, to enter the lottery, travellers 18 and older must join the airline's Velocity Frequent Flyer program and fly in any middle seat on a Virgin Australia operated domestic flight through until April the 23rd. Travellers must then click on the middle seat lottery tile in the Virgin Australia app, find their flight and enter their details. Eligible travellers must reside in Australia and enter within 48 hours of their flight's scheduled departure time. Winners will then be contacted by email after each week's draw.
I want to find out what that helicopter pub crawl is. That sounds pretty cool.
Sounds great, as long as you're not flying a helicopter, that is, obviously.
I mean, yeah, it would definitely end with a bang. That's for sure.
It would do, wouldn't it? You definitely wouldn't remember much of the night before.
No, because you'd probably never wake up again. Thank you so much, Lee. I have to mention again that Crew Travel is brought to you weekly by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Harris was born back in the late 1900s. And of course, their people move people. Thank you, Lee.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to next week already.
Wonderful. You've been watching another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I have been your host. We'll see you again next week.